Boomer Esiason, co-host of WFAN's Boomer and Geo, and of course, a quarterback for 14 years. Good to talk to you, Boomer. Did the Giants get it right?
Good to see you, Dano. And sorry about my background. We're under construction here at WFAN, so you're gonna have to deal with it. It's not quite as pretty as your studio there that has a ton of stuff in it, by the way.
Yeah.
You're like a hoarder.
Yes.
I want everything you got in there. It's
You know
unbelievable.
what? I was called a collector, and then all of a sudden they came up with this word, a hoarder,
Yes.
and I'm guilty of that, but I take it as a compliment. Thank you.
By the way, a happy Harbaugh day here in New York for sure. The Giants got this one right. And no, I don't want to talk about the 1985 Bears because they kicked my ass many times. But yeah, they needed somebody here, Dan. They needed credibility. They needed instant credibility. They do have a quarterback, as we all know, that we think is going to be really good. I think Todd Monken is going to be the perfect offensive coordinator for him. When you think about Lamar Jackson's two previous years, 24 or actually 20, yeah, 24 and 23, he was awesome. And Todd Monken was the offensive play caller. They had the number one offense in the league one of those years. They had the fourth offense in the league another one of those years. He won one of his MVPs. And that's exactly what the Giants and Jackson Dart need here. So this is going to bring stability. I think it's going to make John Mara very happy, who's obviously ill, dealing with cancer. I thought Chris Mara's initial foray down to Baltimore last week to have lunch with John Harbaugh really set the tone for these negotiations. And I think a Harbaugh to the Giants, to me anyway, in the NFL world makes a total sense.
But you go from Baltimore, where you have to win, you got a Super Bowl roster, to now the Giants. How much time do they give him to get this team
Well,
back to respectability?
I mean, can he pull a Ben Johnson? Can he pull a Mike Vrabel? You know, these new guys went into places where they had second year quarterbacks who were can't miss players. And look at what those two coaches did with their quarterbacks and what they did in free agency. Everybody forgets that the Patriots spent the most money in free agency last offseason, mainly on defense. And then the Bears spent mainly on the interior offensive line to protect Caleb Williams. And how has that worked out? So I think expectations would be high here. I certainly think with Malik Neighbors, with Andrew Thomas, with their running tandem, with Jackson Dart, the offense is pretty solid. I think they'll probably add a wide receiver in the draft, but their defense is really what needs the most work. And it'll be interesting to see who he hires as his defensive coordinator because I haven't heard that yet.
How can you teach Jackson Dart to play differently?
No, all he has to do is learn. I call it youthful inexperience, is what it is. He's trying to prove to his teammates that he belongs on the field. I think he gets caught up in the emotion of the game, wants to get the fans, especially at home, into the game. He wants to lead by example. He does remind me a little bit of Josh Allen, the way he plays, and at times when he runs, he's a little bit reckless. And Josh has learned. And nobody does it better than Josh for that matter. But I remember when he was a rookie and even into his second year, they were saying the same things about him, Dan, that they're saying about Jackson Dart and running with the football and protecting himself. But believe me, he will learn quickly.
Yeah, but Josh wasn't in the blue tent. Like Jackson Dart. I mean, that's a co-op for him. Like we can't have that. I mean, come on, slide. It's okay.
Well, I know, and he actually did learn when he came back from the latest injury. Towards the end of the year against the Raiders, and at home, he learned how to play the position better. I mean, look, he's a football player. That's what I love about him more than anything else. Patrick Mahomes, he's a football player. Drake May, he's a football player. C.J. Stroud. I mean, these guys all love getting mixed up into the action and taking some hits. Maybe I was not one of those types of guys. I always tried to stay away from it as much as I could. Maybe that's why I lasted so long. But again, like I don't want to take the inner football player out of him because that's what makes him so special.
Why did the Jets always get it wrong?
Well, it always starts at ownership. That's where it always starts. And they've gone this coordinator route for many years, and they were really close when they first acquired Aaron Rodgers. When Aaron came running out on that field that first September 11th with the flag, and I mean, it gave me chills. And I wish that I could have been in that uniform like he was that night, and what it really brought to all of us as football fans here in New York. And then what, 3 or 4 plays in, he blows out his Achilles. I mean, that was the moment where the Jets had it right. And he came back and had a pretty good second year, by the way. But then Woody Johnson got involved and they fired Rob Saleh, and then all hell breaks loose. So now Darren Muji's got to pick up the pieces. I would say that Darren's done a great job here in terms of acquiring assets for a team that desperately needs them. But until they find a quarterback, they're going to be stuck in neutral too, just like every other team that's in their same situation.
Talking to Boomer Esiason, co-host of WF Fans, Boomer and Geo. What do you do with that second pick in the draft now that Dante Moore is going back to Oregon?
I think the Jets lucked out, and I think Dante Moore is making a $50 million bet that would be hard for me to do that, but I had advised him on our show here in New York, please stay in school. You need more playing time. And I think he made the right decision. And I'm sure he's going to get a nice paycheck from Oregon, but he's making a $50 million bet on himself, which is really quite amazing. So for the Jets, the second pick can be anywhere from, one of these top defensive players from Ohio State, maybe an edge rusher. It also could be another wide receiver to go along with Garrett Wilson. I mean, or trade out of it and even add more assets, which would probably be the smart thing to do because, the draft is it's lottery picks and you want more shots on goal than you can possibly get. And that's one thing the Jets have going for them going into this year's draft.
What about Malik Willis or Mac Jones?
Do they want to come here? That's the thing. Does Mac Jones want to come play for the Jets? I don't see that. And they would have to trade for him. He's got another year in his contract with San Francisco. Malik will be an unrestricted free agent. I would hope that somehow Green Bay would be able to keep him. But if I were him, I'd want to go be a starter somewhere, or at least have a shot to be a starter somewhere. In Green Bay, that's not going to be the case. But I could see the Jets trying to maybe use him as some sort of, I don't know, gap year quarterback if you want to say that. But then again, remember, next year's quarterback class could include Arch Manning, and it will include Dante Moore and a few other guys. So maybe they'll be in a better situation to draft one of those guys next year, meaning that I don't think you want to go out there and try to win 6 or 7 games. I mean, realistically, you look at it, if you want one of those young quarterbacks that is going to change your franchise like Jackson Dart is doing here for the Giants, you're going to have another bad year next year to be at the top of that draft to be able to select that guy.
Yeah, but Boomer, they're trying to win 6 or 7 games and they can't do it. So it's not like...
Listen, I was there for 3 years. I had 3 different head coaches. It was crazy. And I always scream about one thing, Dan, in professional football, professional sports for that matter, is stability. You want to know who's running the organization, who the GM is, who the coach is. And if you keep changing, like Daniel Jones found out as the quarterback of the New York Giants, you're going to take 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. So the one good thing about the Harbaugh situation here for the Giants, I think that this solidifies Jackson Dart's next 10 years. If everything works out right with Todd Monken as his offensive coordinator and John Harbaugh as his coach, that should be a 10-year run. That should be great for him as a quarterback, and he should be really successful. As for the Jets, I mean, who is that guy and where's that guy coming from? If it is Malik Willis, God bless him if he comes here with this team the way it's built right now. Not the greatest place to be successful.
Give me the surprise this weekend in the playoffs.
Oh, wow. I did pick the Texans and the Rams to go to the Super Bowl, so I got to stick with those 2 guys. Okay. I guess I would be surprised if somehow the Patriots, beat the Texans, because I just think the Texans defense are like the '85 Bears. They're that good. I mean, they are all over opposing quarterbacks, and every quarterback has struggled. So even though the Patriots are favored, if they won, for me, that would be a surprise. I guess if San Francisco wins, that would also be a surprise given what Seattle did to them the last time they played, and now with the loss of George Kittle. How many more guys are they going to take away from Brock Purdy and Josh Allen this weekend, Dan? I mean, those guys are playing fantastic football, but they're losing guys left and right around them. So I would think that both are going to struggle a little bit this weekend against those defenses.
What's it like to go to the line of scrimmage and you look at that defense?
Which one?
Well, if I threw out the '85 Bears or the '86 Giants, like when you go to the line of scrimmage and you just know that this is going to be this is going to hurt.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? And you got to get yourself in the mindset to be able to absorb that. And playing all those years back in the old AFC Central, we had the Houston Tech Oilers to deal with. We had Cleveland to deal with. We had Pittsburgh to deal with. Jacksonville ultimately came into the mix as well. But I mean, every weekend it felt like we were playing against a great pass rusher. And then when we did get to the playoffs, we saw Bruce Smith. I mean, that was no fun. And then years of playing him when I was with the Jets, you knew that somehow, some way, he was going to get to you somewhere along the line. The game's a little bit different now, but these guys still take major hits, as Justin Herbert showed us last week, and as Matthew Stafford and Josh Allen both showed us last week. But stepping up there, man, you got to have your chin strap button. You got to be totally focused, and you got to find out, if you can, on film and on tape, any tendencies that they're giving you, any tips that they're giving you, and hopefully you're reading it right that day.
What were Boomer's numbers against the Bears, Paulie?
Oh, man, Dan. September 28, 1986, Boomer. I had the Bears 44-7 over the Bengals. Does that sound correct?
That's right. That's right. And here's the funny thing about that game. It was early in the season. And thanks for bringing that up, Dan. So the funny thing about that game was the Bears were coming to Cincinnati, and it was a really hot September day. It was hot, steamy, and muggy. And I remember saying to my center, Dave Remington, "Man, we got the Bears here. They're not going to like this weather. They're not going to deal with it." And after the first quarter was over, Dave said, "You sure they don't like it here? I think they like it pretty much." I think I remember throwing a ball off of one of the back of my offensive linemen, and it got picked off by Wilbur Marshall. So.
What are the numbers? By the way, Boomer did win an MVP, NFL MVP. I mean,
that's all right. Listen, I've been around long enough to be able to take a joke.
Okay, the Boomer stats in that game: 14 for 30, 212, 1 TD, 4 picks, and 3 sacks.
Yeah.
However, Boomer, you did lead the team in rushing, 2 carries, 14 yards.
I like that.
I was running for my life. Yes, that was it. That was the you got to remember. So they had the 46 defense with Buddy Ryan.
Yeah.
And it was something that nobody had ever seen before. So it took us a while to figure it out, what was going on and how they were running it. And once we figured it out, our offensive line coach, the great Jim McNally, who just got elected into the Pro Football Hall of Fame for assistant coaches, he came up with so many different plays to beat that defense, which ultimately propelled us to the Super Bowl a few years later.
Great to talk to you. Tell Gio we said hello. Thanks for joining us.
All righty, Dan. Anytime. See you, bud.
Boomer Esiason, co-host of WFAN radio show Boomer and Gio. Spent 14 years. I can't imagine facing the Bears, facing the Giants back then. Oh, man. You know, the Ravens back in the day. There's certain defenses where you go, God, I don't know if there's a weakness here.